everyone. I'm up to visit my mother and do the school collection, so I could kill two birds with one stone. They're just talking there in the radio, very interesting thing about chivalry, the age of chivalry. I'm afraid we have ruined our teenagers. I think we have given them too much and we have made them too self-centered and made them feel too important to themselves. We were so worried about them maybe being left behind or suffering with lack of confidence. Some of them are uber confident and not very chivalrous. They just mentioned there on the radio, people are ringing in. We have this, what would you call it? It's a kind of a talk program every day after lunchtime. It's called Joe Duffy. You can look it up online. I'll leave a link below. But there's different topics every day. So the topic they're talking about today is teenagers, young people not giving up their seats on buses or trains when an old person gets on. We're kind of gone to the stage now where people are feeling self-righteous, like I've paid for my train ticket or my bus ticket and I'm entitled to my seat. And you know, it's difficult, it's not nice, it's not chivalrous, it's not mannerly, it's not caring for our elderly or our disabled. I remember, how many years ago was it now? About 7 years ago, myself and my husband, it was our 25th wedding anniversary, and we had a lovely trip over to Los Angeles and San Francisco. And I remember getting on a bus in San Francisco, and we were amazed at how well the elderly were catered for, or the disabled people were really top priority. And in one place on the bus, I remember sitting down and we looked over our head and it said, there was a sign and it said, if an older person or a disabled person boards the bus, you must vacate this seat immediately for them. And I mean, you don't see that in Ireland, in Dublin. And I remember the bus putting down a special ramp so that a disabled person could wheel their wheelchair on board, and every provision was made, and there was no big fuss or no big deal about it. But immediately, if an elderly person got up, we saw younger people standing up immediately, saying nothing, and just allowing the elderly to sit down. And in Ireland, that's not happening anymore, and that's a shame. We have lost an awful lot if we don't look after our elderly and our disabled. We have reared an uncaring group of teenagers. If they feel so self-righteous that they cannot get up and give a seat to somebody who is less physically able than themselves, I don't know, it's a very worrying state of things. But as I said, in San Francisco, you would actually be fined. There was a penalty if you did not vacate your seat. And I think they're going to have to do that here in Ireland to bring back the age of chivalry. They are going to have to make it a finable offence if you don't get up and give up your seat to somebody who's less able than you are. Oh, it's a sad state of affairs, it really is. We should always honour our elderly. We should honour our less abled people in all sorts of ways. They should have top priority. Now in Ireland, there is free travel. There's free bus travel and free train travel for people, I think, over the age of 65. It's either 65 or 66. Once you qualify for your old age pension, you also qualify for free travel, and that is great. And it does mean that there are more elderly using these facilities to get into towns and go places. But there must be sort of a sense of resentment there too from a lot of people that they're not giving up their seats to these people and letting them sit and rest, because they have to remember that one day they too will be old, and they too will have tired legs, and they too will be in need of sitting down. And a young person, I mean, oh, I don't know. And I know it makes you feel really good. I remember doing it myself, standing up to let older people sit down, and it gives you a good feeling, because you feel you've done the right thing. You've treated somebody kindly. It's a good deed, and it won't go unpaid for. So young people out there, get up off your backsides if somebody older and less physically able than you is on your bus or train. Don't sit and wait for somebody else to give up their seat. Stand up and be counted. Be a man, be a woman, be a girl. Be proud of yourself. Do the right thing, because this is not a nice thing to be creeping into our country. Someday you will also be old. It may be your granny. It may be your granddad. It may be a cousin of yours that's less able, less physically able. Don't judge. Don't ignore. Just do the right thing. When you're going into shops or coming out of shops, and if there's elderly people there, you let them pass first. You hold the door for them. Little niceties go a long, long way. Many chivalrous men hold doors for me when I'm going in and out, and I always say thank you, and I do appreciate it. I think it's a lovely gesture. It's not that I'm weaker than them, but it shows respect. And I mean, it's not lack of strength or lack of equality that means that we're not all the same. Some of us have illnesses that maybe aren't visibly obvious on the outside. And never judge, never say, oh, that person is just as young as I am. They can stand, you know. I mean, always make the offer if you think it's needed. Hold that door for somebody.